everybody, I want to teach you some very, very simple edgings. I want to get into more complicated edgings but before I do that, I'd like to give you this little video on a couple extremely simple ones. So I have the how to tulip crochet, the tulip stitch swatch, that's in another video, and how to do the forked double crochet, that's in another video, both for right and left-handed, and then this is the forked double crochet swatch as well. But I want to show you a couple extremely easy edgings if you just don't know what else to do and you want to just finish. So I have this yarn on my hook. It's an eye size hook and it goes similarly with these swatches. I'm going to take the underside of this swatch, and the first edging I want to show you is one of my absolute favorites. It's the single crochet chain, or the slip stitch chain swatch. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch in a corner, and it's chain one, slip stitch. So you can do this with any multiple of stitches, chain one, slip stitch. So if you did your math wrong or you're confused, it doesn't matter what multiple of stitches are in your project, it's just chain one, slip stitch. One for one, chain one, slip stitch. Chain one, slip stitch. So easy. Chain one, I just chained one, slip stitch. And it makes this teeny little rick-rack edging around any project, which I think is adorable and so easy and quick. So let's go through this slowly. Chain one, slip stitch in the next stitch. Doesn't matter what stitch pattern you worked on, chain one, slip stitch. You can put it in a space, you can put it in the bottom of a stitch. It doesn't have to be like a perfect multiple. You can eyeball it if you want to. It doesn't have to be like I said, any particular number of stitches. And when you get to the corner, you can just keep right on going up the side, working in the sides of your turning chains. So chain one, slip stitch, chain one, slip stitch, chain one, slip stitch. Okay, so as you know, oh, there goes my ball right off the edge of the table. As you know, the chain one is easy. You just pull the yarn through the loop that's on the hook, and the slip stitches, insert the hook in the space or stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through the loop on the hook. Chain one, slip stitch. Now, people may not know this, but your edging should be the same gauge as your project. So if your project is 4 stitches to the inch, then you should be getting 4 stitches to the inch on your edging. I'm a little less strict about it. I just eyeball it and make sure it doesn't ruffle too much. But this is the chain slip edging. And it makes this cute little braided, like rick-racky thing along the edge. So cute. It has a good amount of stretch. It's a little less even on the sides because your sides are a little less even. But it still makes a beautiful little corded edge, and it's the chain slip edging. And you can do that around all the sides. You can do that along a boy project, a girl project, whatever you want. So that is the chain slip edging. Now let me show you another one. I'm going to give you 3 quick edgings in this video just to get you started. So another one of my favorite edgings is the crab stitch or the reverse single crochet. I do have another video on it already, but here I'm going to show you how to work it on this tulip stitch swatch. So I will place a slip knot on my hook. And okay, so no matter what direction you are used to working, so right-handers work from right to left, left-handers work from left to right, and I flipped this video so my hand might be going back the wrong direction depending on which video you're watching. For the crab stitch, you will work opposite the direction you generally work for your handedness, okay? So I am going to go the opposite direction than I am used to working. I'm going to start at the top of the swatch knowing that I am going to work not my general direction, but the opposite. I joined with a slip stitch, or with a single crochet rather, and this reverse single crochet or crab stitch is the same thing. So I am going to work opposite the direction I normally would with a single crochet. So insert the hook to the opposite direction, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, move the hook to the opposite direction that I'm used to, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. I'm working over the tail because I do that. And let's see, I'm not getting the crab effect I want, so I need to make more of them. Let's see, there we're getting some roundedness, the little, like the little shell working, the crab working sideways along the edge of my tulip stitch swatch. So check out my special stitches playlist for right and left-handed versions on how to do this tulip swatch and also the forked double crochet swatch that I already showed you. So as I turn the corner for this reverse single crochet or crab stitch, I'm just going to do everything exactly the same. I'm not doing anything different as I go along the corner. So it will make a bumpy, interesting edge, and that is the way it's supposed to be for the reverse single crochet or crab stitch. Like I said, I plan on doing videos for you that have more intricate edgings, but I wanted to get some of these super easy ones out of the way first because they are really not worth a whole video for each one. I thought I'd do a couple in one video, and then we can work on getting edgings that are specific to particular multiples another time. So now that I've done 2 sides, let's show you what I've got here. So this is the crab stitch or reverse single crochet edging. It's the same all the way around the corner. It looks like this. It is lumpy, bumpy. It's a little corded edge, and it's really adorable, and it works for just about everything. In general, I tend to use the same color as the main color for at least the first row of edging. Now this reverse single crochet crab stitch, generally it's a 1-row edging because it's really hard to work into this. So you only get 1 chance to do an edging with this, and I usually use the same color unless you want like a contrasting edge, which you totally could do. If you have uneven stitches or need to like fudge the multiple a little bit, it's smart to use the same color of yarn because then it doesn't call attention to itself as much. So you can use, but I'm using kind of a different color yarn now for illustration purposes. Okay, so we have that little chain and slip edging, and we have the reverse single crochet or crab stitch edging. The next little edging, and the last one for this video I want to show you, is, I don't even know what you would call it. It's just a general edging that I use on a lot of different things. Let me grab some yarn. It's just a little, I don't know, just a little berry. It's I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. Put a slip knot on my hook. And it doesn't really matter where to start. This is the right side facing, this is up, this is down. Doesn't matter where I start for this, but I'm going to work single crochet, join with a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And it makes this little lumpy picot looking stitch. And I'm going to skip a stitch, and in the next stitch do single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now you can go wild with this, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and you can add more chains if you wish, or you can change the height of the stitch if you wish. So this is another one of my absolute favorites. It makes this cute little teeny scallop, this little berry bump. I don't even know what you would call it. So single crochet, and of course on the edging I always work on working over the top of as many ends as possible to avoid having to work in a ton. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And depending on what stitch pattern you're working on, I'm using the logical spot where there's a chain 2 in between repeats to put my little berry so that it accentuates the stitch pattern that it is. And it does need a little bit of space. So if I were to add them where I would put a little berry in the top of the stitch and the space and the stitch and the space, there would be too many and it would begin to ruffle up. Because remember, too many stitches makes a fabric ruffle and not enough stitches makes the fabric cup. And that's all in my hat math video. So there's a video on hat math and also videos on actually making a flat circle. So those lessons are in there. But if I need to kind of give them some room to breathe. So if I put them too close to each other, they would begin to ruffle. So I'm kind of giving them as much logical space as it feels like it needs so that the fabric stays flat. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, that would be in parentheses in a written pattern because they're all going in the same stitch or space. So it would say parenthesis, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, close parenthesis was how the instruction would be written for this little adorable, I don't know, berry, tiny shell little border. And to go around the edge, I would likely just keep right on going. So I would treat this side and now I would begin this side. So I'm going to put another one in that corner space. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then continue on down the side of the row using the logical places and spacing them out a little bit. Let's go ahead and put them in the turning chain. You can go ahead and wrap your stitches all the way around the turning chain like I'm doing here where I'm enclosing them in my single crochet. I think that makes the neatest appearance of this edging. If you want, you could put your edging in or split the stitch and put it in there, but I think it tends to look a little, I don't know, messier. So let's do a couple by splitting the stitch and you can decide what you think. So there's double crochets for one row, and because it's a turning row, there's a chain, turning chain on the next row. And if I'm splitting that to put my stitches, let's do one more. You can see the difference. I like to do it around the whole thing. So here, let's take a closer look, shall we? Here, I wrapped the entire stitch. You can't see any green. It's only the light blue-gray cloud color. But then here, I split the stitch and put it in the green. And so you can see the green. You can see that the edging sits on green. Here, the edging seems to float around the green. So you can totally decide what you like better. I tend to like this one better. It's easier and quicker to make and is more uniform. And this one could be different depending on what type of row it's in, and I just think it looks messier and it doesn't lay quite as flat. But it's completely up to you how you want to do it. But there are 3 simple edgings that you can put on any pattern to wrap it up and get it done in a hurry. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me.